That's like yeah.
Okay, so this is what we need in order to make that happen.
Magic.
The Magician, specifically, the Magician, this is a really great card to have here. Collectively, we all need the Magician. So the Magician is major arcana in the tarot. So unlike playing cards don't have the major arcana. The major arcana is a series of cards that goes from 0 to 21. So there are 22 cards total in the major arcana.
Okay.
The Fool is 0. The Fool card is somewhere in here still. The Magician is 1. Okay? So the Magician, you'll notice here that the Magician is holding a wand. Okay, so if you look at the card, you'll see that the Magician is holding...
I see his face, yeah, okay.
He's holding a wand, and then you'll see in front of him, he has a cup, and a disc,
right,
and a sword.
Okay.
So the Magician holds all 4 of the other suits in this card. So the Magician is able to take all of those disparate elements, right? So the wands represent the element of fire.
Okay.
Swords represent the element of air. Cups represent the element of water, and discs represent the element of earth, right? So we've got those 4 basic elements.
Right.
The Magician is able to bring all of those elements together to create whatever it is that he's creating, right? You'll also see the infinity symbol over his head, okay? So he has mastered these things, okay? You'll also notice that he is alone, except for the kitty cat on his head.
Everybody likes the cats. The cat lady. Love it.
So when the Magician shows up, the Magician means practice and study, scholarship, right? The Magician, right? Because here's the thing about the Magician, right? We only see the magic, right? The Magician does not ever let us see how it's done, right? Because he has already done all of his preparation in solitude and all of his practice and his study in solitude so that he has perfected it on his own, so that when he goes out into the world to manifest that thing, what everybody else sees is just the end result and not all of the work that went into it, right? So he represents doing all of the hard work required to make that magic, right? But he does it on his own, right? And he does it in seclusion where nobody else can see him, right? So he's developing his skills and his power, and then he goes out in the world and provides it to everybody, right? Puts on the magic show, if you will, right? Or solves the issue. Or this could also be, right, so we think of the Magician, we see a guy here, but it's important to remember that this is also, this can also represent women.
It's gender neutral.
Right, it is very gender neutral, but it is a man on the card, so the energy is definitely masculine and has that kind of masculine energy to it.
So he's wearing a dress.
Robes.
Robes, difference, okay.
But it's also important to recognize that, of course, women can take on masculine traits and energy in order to accomplish things. And men can take on feminine energy in order to be receptive and creative and whatever else they need in order to have that feminine energy in their life. So there's also that idea of the balance.
I mean, I agree, it does look like a robe, but you have to also agree that that is a snazzy pattern for a robe. And that would be a very, like, Leanne, we need to get a dress made here with we have a new pattern for a dress.
Yeah, well, she loves all of these. Here. This is one of her favorite decks.
Is she going to make a fashions line after it?
I'm hoping that this will inspire her to make some clothing.
I think that would be great.
Inspired by this. Yeah. So this is an answer to the question, what do we collectively need to get to world peace? We need the Magician.
We need the Magician to be working behind the scenes.
In other words, each and every one of us individually needs to be our own magician, working behind the scenes, doing the things in private that we need to do so that when we go out into the world, we can make that magic manifest.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there ever a time where the Magician actually makes known his preparations?
At his convenience, yes. The thing about the Magician, too, is that he is he calls the shots for sure, right? Okay. So if he does want to share that knowledge, then yes, he will. The way that he does that is in another card. So he then transforms into the Hierophant. Okay. So if the Hierophant shows up, the Hierophant is the magician transformed into the spiritual leader or spiritual visionary who is then able to transmit that information to other people. Okay. So typically if the magician shows up as opposed to the Hierophant, it's more likely to be still on the lowdown. Right. And keeping that in the private realm, whereas if the Hierophant shows up, then yes, it's time to take it out into the world and share it with other people.
Right.